Hello BookTube, hello friends, welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth, and I thought I would take you on a little adventure with me. I have decided kind of last minute that I am taking a road trip across the country from Florida to Oklahoma. My daughter Emily was released from the hospital a few days ago, and she was not strong enough to travel, but my husband was willing to take a couple of days off work so that I could go to my sister and brother-in-law's home. They have just finished renovating their home, and they're celebrating their 40th wedding anniversary. So I am super excited to go and see all of my family. And on the way, I thought I would do a little bit of book shopping. Now, my ultimate book shopping goal while we're there is to go to Gardner's used bookstore in Tulsa. My sister lives not too far from Tulsa. Now, I told my sister several months ago when I found out about Gardner's that I would love to go there, and as soon as I could ever get a chance to go and visit her, I would love for us to go together. Now, she doesn't know yet that I am for sure coming. I have been planning to go all along, but then when things happened with Emily and her recovery was slower than we thought it would be, it just became pretty obvious that I was probably not going to be able to go. And then she got out of the hospital sooner than expected. So at the last minute, I looked at plane flights. I couldn't make any of them mesh up with really what I wanted to do and the times I wanted to go. So I just hopped in the car and I'm driving. So just to dangle some carrots in front of me as I drive along, I thought I would search for used bookstores along the way. And I have found one here in Tallahassee, Florida. So I am several hours from my home, and I left a few hours ago. I have stopped a little bit and napped along the way because I'm not as good at longevity driving as I used to be in my younger years. But I'm still trying to make it to my sister's house by the time her event starts tomorrow. And it's a total of about 18 and a half hours actual driving time. So from here, as long as I don't stop too many times and for very long at a time, I should be able to make it by tomorrow morning and be there in plenty of time for her event. So I'm going to pause the video and show you the front of the store where I am. It's called My Favorite Books in Tallahassee, Florida. I have never been here before. It is 10 a.m., so they should be opening their doors any minute now. So I want to take you inside and film in there if I can. If I can't, then if I buy anything, I will show you what I buy when I'm done. And let's just go and have an adventure together. So here is the bookstore. It's called My Favorite Books, and it's in Tallahassee, Florida. Let's go inside. Okay, it looks like their nonfiction is buy two get one free the entire month of July. It looks like a great store. Nice storefront. And I found a book that I didn't have that I was looking for. Winter in Thrush Green by Miss Reed. This is, of course, one of two that I've already read, but I still want to own the whole collection. And I found it at My Favorite Books in Tallahassee, Florida. So the gentleman in there was very kind and very helpful to look up books for me that I was looking for. And I had a very nice experience here. So if you are ever on your way through Florida to, like, say, you know, Disney World or any of the Central Florida attractions, this store is right off of I-10 in Tallahassee. So be sure you stop by. Okay, I have found my next location. I am north of Pensacola, Florida, in a little town called Milton. And this one was a little off the beaten path, but I'm really glad I found it. It's called the Blackwater Book Exchange Used Book Cafe, which sounds awesome. So I'm going to go in and see what I can find. So far, this looks fun. All right, so here we are inside the Blackwater Cafe, and this is Ryan and Isabel. They are my very friendly coffee makers today and assisting me with finding a book. Do you want to show them the book I bought?
Oh, yes.
You can tell them.
That's the herb.
It is.
It is. Jody Thomas's Texas Love Song.
Yes, and most of my subscribers know that I love Jody Thomas, and that's a book that I do not have, and I haven't read. So we're just waiting for the coffee to brew, and I thought if they wanted to say hey, then they could say hey. This is a really cool quote on their counter. Reading is by far the most successful pursuit of happiness. That's cool. So when I was looking for the bookstore here in Milton, Florida, I passed by this sign that says Scrapbooking Life, and I thought I would swing back around this way and see if in fact there is a scrapbook store here, and it looks like there is, so I'm going to check it out. So I bought some scrapbooking paper. Most of it's Toy Story themed, but I also got this beautiful vintage looking paper. It's from Poland, and I think this would look beautiful with my own baby pictures should I ever decide to do any kind of scrapbook with them. So I couldn't resist getting 2 of these beautiful papers. And I met some nice ladies who are inside having a crop. Wow, I haven't even thought about going to a crop in so long. And I got a new Creative Memories catalog from a consultant who was there, and I am excited. So I don't even know what town I'm in. I didn't even search for this, but I'm on this kind of a back road because of a detour, and literally a bookstore was on my right, Meg's Books. So I'll find out exactly where I am, and I'm going to go in and see what they have. Well, so sad. They are closed. But it's still pretty exciting to find a bookstore when I wasn't even looking. So I guess I just have a good innate book magnet. So I went down the street to the local Dairy Queen and got a Blizzard, and I found out that I am in Semmes, Alabama. And incidentally, my Blizzard is one of the new summer flavors called Caramel Cannonball, and I haven't even tasted it, but it looks really good. And I also didn't know that Dairy Queen now has cheese curds. We've got a Culver's near Katie's high school, and so we've started getting cheese curds there, and they're amazing. So I am really interested to try the Dairy Queen cheese curds now. Good morning. So now it is Saturday morning, July 27th, and I am in northern Arkansas, almost to the Oklahoma border, and I thought I'd do a search for quilt shops this morning and see if I could find a quilt shop on the route that has a row by row pattern that I could take to my sister, and I found one. It is not far off the interstate, but it's in a fun little mountainous kind of area, little country area. It's called Cozy Quilts and Things, and I am on my way there right now. I did call ahead to make sure they were there, and let's go take a look. I love these little at-home quilt shops. I'm not sure which is the shop, that one or that one, but there's also a house that's to my right. I won't put it on film, and I am super excited. Okay, here we are. This is Linda, and your shop is called Cozy
Quilts and Things.
Cozy Quilts and Things. She's got a beautiful shop. They're doing row by row, so I'm getting one of these for Charla. And it's appropriate because it's a cake, and I'm headed to her house for her 40th wedding anniversary party. So that's perfect. And if you ever find yourself where in Arkansas are we?
Mulberry, Arkansas.
Mulberry, Arkansas. Then you must come, because she's got this huge room where she does quilt classes. And it's awesome. And
Quilting as well.
you do what?
Machine quilting.
Machine quilting. I wonder if my sister's ever been here. She just lives a couple hours from here, so she'll be interested to see this video too. She'll probably want to head on over if she hasn't already been. But thank you for inviting me in. Well, good morning again. I am finally in Oklahoma. I'm super excited. I have stopped at the Welcome Center on I-40. I am a little over an hour from my sister's house, and it looks like I'm going to make it just about on time for lunch and when everybody starts getting there, so none of them know that I'm coming, and I can't wait to surprise them. So I probably won't video from there unless later on in the day after, you know, the party settles down, if Charlotte wants to do a video with me or something, or if they don't care if I video a little bit, then I will. But I will show you the welcome center. I accidentally parked at the back. I'm on the truck side, but there are really cool teepee-like structures over the picnic tables. They don't have skins over the top. They're just the poles that would create a teepee, but it's a neat effect here at the Oklahoma Welcome Center. And in case anyone's wondering, I don't usually ever stop at a hotel or motel or anything when I'm driving to Oklahoma. I usually just nap along the way as needed and try to drive straight on through. It ends up taking me longer that way, I think, than if I actually just stopped at a hotel, but it saves me money. So that's just what I've done for the last 30 years. And so anyway, I'm headed to my sister's house now. Hello. Well, I made it to my sister's about noon on Saturday, the 27th, and we had a lovely time. All of my family was here and her husband's family, and it was their 40th wedding anniversary celebration. I didn't film or vlog any, obviously, during that day. And then yesterday we went to church, and in the afternoon we went to an antique mall where my sister has a booth, and she was downsizing from a large booth to a smaller one, so I got to help her move most of her things. And so now I'm on her back porch this morning. It's Monday morning. It's a lovely day. It was looking kind of rainy this morning. There's some cows in the background, and this is their back porch. I'm getting ready to do my Bible reading, and it looks like the wind is moving my place around, but that's okay. And then we're leaving in a little while to go into Tulsa. We are going to go to Gardner's bookstore and maybe stop a couple of other places along the way. She has a quilt shop that she needs to go to on an errand for a friend. So we have a fun morning planned, and then I'm going to be heading back towards Florida sometime around midday today, and I will check in with you later. So I finished my Bible reading, and before we leave, I thought I would go ahead and show you one book that I did purchase yesterday at the antique mall where Charlotte has her booth. And the reason I bought it is for the title. I mean, sometimes you find a book that has such an amazing title that you just have to buy it, whether or not you think you will love the book or not. And this is one of those times. So here is the book. It is, I believe, a nonfiction humorous book that is what I would classify as Southern humor. But the title is Sue Ellen's Girl Ain't Fat, She Just Weighs Heavy. And it's by Shelley Rushing Tomlinson, who I have never heard of. But the subtitle says, The Belle of All Things Southern dishes on men, money, and not losing your midlife mind. So I don't know if I'm going to like it or not. It's blurbed by Jeff Foxworthy. It says it's laugh out loud funny. So we'll see. But the title alone was enough to make me pay the $1, and I think it's just a fantastic title. So since I drove here, I brought several books for Charla. I always kind of collect a stack for her, and then once or twice a year I mail them. But since I was coming, I went ahead and brought them. And so she gave me this one. I think it's one she's read and said that she liked, and she was done with it. It's called Letters from Sky by Jessica Brockmole. I don't know anything about it, but Charlotte and I have very similar reading tastes, and so if she liked it, then I am sure I will. So here's my sister Charla, and we are just like the next town over, and we found this little, well, she had just learned about this new little quilting shop that has just opened up. It's the Quilting Sisters and Merchantile, and then she was just noticing this little Queen Elizabeth waver. It's cute. Anyway, you want to say hi?
Hi everybody. I don't know anything about what this shop has, but we're going to find out.
So here we are at the largest used bookstore in Oklahoma, Gardner's Used Books and Music. And I have never been here, Charlotte's never been here, and I'm excited to see what they have. So here we are Inside, it's huge. Well, that's the music section, DVDs. It is very large and spacious. Okay, so my first find at Gardner's, I found their small section of Grace Livingston Hill books. I only have like 4 or 5 that I don't have, and I found Ariel Custer for $1, so I am getting this one. So next I'm looking in the historical romance section. They have Jody Thomas books divided between contemporary and historical. I mean, they have a whole section for just historical romance and then the contemporary romance. So she has some in each. And I have not started this series yet, but this is book 2 in the Wife Lottery series. I think there's only 4 in the series. I have the other 3. So this is book 2, When a Texan Gambles. I realized that I didn't show you everything that I bought at Gardner's while I was at Gardner's, and I should have showed you what Charlotte got. She ended up getting 5 books. I can tell you some of the ones that she got, but I thought I will just do all that at the end of the video as I'm wrapping things up. I'll make sure that I have shown you everything that I bought on this trip by the end of the video. So now we are in the town of Sand Springs, Oklahoma, and Charlotte needed to go to this little shop called Quilt Nuts, and I noticed that there is a bookstore just catty-cornered, up the street and catty-cornered a little bit. So while she's in here shopping, I'm going to walk to the bookstore. Okay, so I've walked just down the street, and I am here at Rod's Books and Relics in Sand Springs, Oklahoma. Okay, so the entrance is actually in this shop on the corner called the Yesterday Shop, and the bookshop is in the back. But I got up here to the entrance, and it's closed on Mondays, so sad I can't go in there. But at least I know where it is, and the next time I visit my sister, maybe I can come here. So now we are in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, and we're headed to a bistro that is also a bookstore. I found it on Google Maps, and then I got in touch with Courtney, the protagonist, and she said that the food was amazing. She was originally going to meet us here, but she's still having some jet lag from her big trip across the ocean. So she's not planning to meet us this trip, but anyway, we're going to go down and eat lunch and then shop for books for just a few minutes, and then I got to get on the road soon. Okay, so now we're here, McHuston's Books and Bistro in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, and I am excited to be here. So we've had our lunch, and I had permission to film inside. They have an amazing collection of of old, vintage, and rare books, and just a really wonderful collection of books. A lot of nonfiction of like everything you can imagine. Some of it is rare and old, and a lot of it is just very interesting. So far, this is what I've picked out to purchase. It's called The Fords, an American Epic by Peter Collier and David Horowitz. I am going to get this for my husband, who is a Ford fan, and so I'm going to get this. Hello again. Well, it's a dark and gloomy Tuesday midday, and I am in central Louisiana, south central Louisiana. I left Charlotte's house yesterday early evening and got a little ways down the road. I got into Louisiana before I stopped for a nap, which turned into like 3 or 4 hours, and then I went another hour or 2 and stopped again because the rain. It was raining buckets. So I am kind of taking it slow through Louisiana. It's still raining steady, and I hope it's not going to get worse again. I looked at weather.com, and I think the worst of it is past. But anyway, I have ended up coming a different way home than I came here because I just wanted to go on roads that I was more familiar with, because when in years past I would be going to my hometown, this is the route that I would come. It's not the fastest from my sister's, but it will be faster for me because I'm more familiar with the roads. So I'm veering off my regular route just a little bit because of the rain. There is, if you're familiar with Louisiana, I take I-49 through Louisiana, and then when I'm headed home, I pick up I-10 or I-12 in Baton Rouge. But there is a cutoff from I-49. It saves you from having to go all the way to I-10 before you start heading east. And I didn't want to take that road today because there's been so much flooding around the Mississippi River, and with the flash flood warnings that we've gotten this morning, I was just a little shy about taking that cutoff today. So I'm going a little farther and picking up I-10 where I-49 meets it. So I wasn't going to go to any bookstores on the way home. I kind of decided that yesterday because I found out from my husband yesterday that he decided to go ahead and take Emily back to the hospital last night. She has been having just an overabundance of seizure activity since she's been home from the hospital, and he just felt like he needed to take her. So I felt like I needed to kind of hurry home as quick as possible and not dilly-dally too long on the road. So I thought, I've been to enough bookstores this trip. I probably won't stop at any more, especially I won't go off the beaten path and won't go way out of my way to find any. But this morning when I had gone into a McDonald's just to wait out in the worst of the rain, I thought, well, I'll just search and see what's there. Literally right off the interstate, off of I-49, just before Lafayette, there's a bookstore. So I thought, you know what? It's right there. I am going to go ahead and check it out. So I'm less than 20 miles from there now. I just stopped for gas, and I thought I would go ahead and just update you on where I am and what I'm doing. But I'm going to do my best to not spend very much time there because I do need to get on home and get to Emily at the hospital. My husband is supposed to go back to work tomorrow. He has taken off some days so that I could go to Oklahoma, and I don't want him to have to call in tomorrow. I've got to get home. So anyway, I will check in with you when I get to the bookstore. Also, I stopped at an Exxon station to get some gas, and I found that they have peanut rounders. They don't sell these anywhere around where I live, at least not that I've ever seen. I sometimes get these when I'm in Oklahoma, but I did not get any this trip, and I spotted them there. I don't even know how much they cost, but these are so good. Not healthy at all. Well, peanuts are healthy, right, unless you're allergic. And I remember these from my childhood, so I am super excited to have these. I'm going to try to only eat one of these on the trip and save the other one to share with my family when I get home. We'll see how that goes. So it is raining a little bit, but I have made it to the book rack in Lafayette, Louisiana. It is literally right off of I-49. There's I-49 right there. And I'm going to go in. This is a fantastic store. They even have most of their inventory cataloged on the computer. And so the most awesome find, I've already set them up here, is they have 2 of the Lumbee books by Gail Fraser that I didn't have, and I have been wanting to collect that whole series so that I can maybe do these as a read-along. For any of you who might be interested in reading the Lumbee series with me maybe next year or year after, I'm missing 1 now out of the 6 because I'm going to purchase these 2. So I'm super excited about that. Then my next project is to look through those Guidepost books and see if any of those are ones that I don't have. And we'll see what else I can find in this lovely store. And to make this store even more perfect, it has a Bookstore Cat. Aww. And what will probably be my last stop for anything other than food, gas, and restrooms, I have made a stop for Charlotte to get her a row-by-row pattern at my sewing shop in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And the people in there were lovely. They have a lovely store, and one of the local ladies even gave me advice about 5 o'clock traffic, which it almost is. And I am happy that I found the place. It is really pretty here. And then just across the way they have their classroom. They call it their creative center. I love the little truck wall hanging in the window. It's so cute. And this place is really neat. It's like an indoor-outdoor mall, and it is really neat. So I have decided to make one more stop. This was unplanned. I really should not take the time to be stopping again. I am in Gainesville, Florida, so I am within a couple of hours from home, and Emily is back in the hospital, so I do need to hurry, but I'm so road weary. And I didn't even know that there was a Second and Charles in Gainesville. I've never been to one, but I have heard Krista from Books and Jams talk about going to the one near her. And I think I've heard a couple of other people talk about Second and Charles also. So I decided this might just give me the extra little boost of energy that I need to get on down the road and get on down to the hospital where Emily is. I'm not even going to go home. I'm going to go just straight to the hospital, because my husband has gone on to work. And I did talk to the nurse before I decided to stop, and Emily is doing fine. She's asleep and in good hands. So I probably won't do any vlogging inside here, and later on after I get to the hospital I will wrap up this whole video, and if I decide to buy anything here I will show you then. So I am back in Florida now. I am at the hospital with Emily, and I have not actually been home yet. I hope that I'll be able to get home within the next couple of days, and at that point maybe I can bring the computer back to the hospital and try to put this all together so that I can get it uploaded. And I thought I would just do kind of a summary and maybe just go ahead and just show you all of the books that I got. I have 14 books, and I already showed most of them while I was purchasing them. I also got one book that my sister gave me, and I bought one book for my husband, and then the rest are for me. I found a couple of books that were on my high priority list, books on my most wanted list, and I'm super excited about that. So let me just go through real quick what I bought, and then we'll kind of wrap this up. One of the first stores that I stopped in, I can't even remember now what state it was in, but it was a cute little store. It was the same town where I also found a scrapbooking store, and the book I bought at that bookstore is Texas Love Song by Jody Thomas. This is book 1 in the McQuillan duology. I don't know anything about it, but I've read enough Jody Thomas books to know that there's a really good chance that I will definitely enjoy this book. And then the next batch are going to be the books that I bought at Gardners, which is the largest used bookstore in Oklahoma. I got another Jody Thomas book. This is book 2 in the Wife Lottery series. It's called When a Texan Gambles. So this was the only one in that series of 4 books that I did not own, and I don't know anything about this series either, but again, it's Jody Thomas, so I want to read all of her books, and I didn't have this one. Then I have collected almost this entire series. It's the Needlecraft series by Monica Ferris. I've only read the first one, and I did enjoy it, but my sister has read some of the others later on down in the series, and she did not like it very much. So I don't know if I'm going to like it or not. We do have very similar reading tastes, but there's also other books that I like that she doesn't. So I'm still going to go ahead and give this a go since I've gone to the trouble to collect so many of them. And this is book 6. It's called Hanging by a Thread. And I found a Grace Livingston Hill book that I did not own. It's called Ariel Custer. And then I picked up 2 books by Jean Hager. She is an old Oklahoma author. I don't know if she's still living or not. And I knew about some of her Cherokee series. She has 2 series. One is called the Molly Bearpaw series. I had book 1, and this is book 2, Redbird's Cry. And then I also own book 2 of her other Native American series. I can't even remember the name of it now. And I was looking for book 1, but they didn't have any from that series. But she also has a bed and breakfast series called The Iris House Mysteries. I don't know if these are set in Oklahoma or not. I almost bought the whole series. They had the entire series on the shelf except for the Christmas book. But I thought, you know what, I better just get the first one. They had more than one copy of the first book. And so I thought I'm just going to go ahead and grab the first one, see how I like it, and then we'll go from there. I can always ask Charlotte to go back and pick up the rest of them for me some other time since she doesn't live very far away from there. So I'm interested to see if I'm going to like this one. It's kind of fun because in the front, it reminds me of a clue board. It's got a map of the first floor and the second floor of the Iris house. So that's pretty neat. And then I got 2 trade paperback books there. I got book 4 in the Danielle Ross mystery series by Gilbert Morris. This is Revenge at the Rodeo. And then I was excited to get this one, The Innocent Libertine by T. Davis Bunn and Isabella Bunn. This is book 2 in the Heirs of Acadia series. I really loved the Song of Acadia series by Jeanette Oak and T. Davis Bunn. And so this spin-off series was written by Davis Bunn and his wife. And I have not started these yet. I'm really excited to start them. This series is on my 20 by 20 Stack the Series challenge. And so I'm excited to have book 2. Now, interestingly, I did not know what the word libertine meant. So I just now looked it up. On my Google dictionary, it says, a person, especially a man, who behaves without moral principles or a sense of responsibility, especially in sexual matters. And one of the synonyms is playboy. So then the second definition is a person who rejects accepted opinions in matters of religion, a free thinker. So those are very interesting definitions, and it makes me very curious about this book. Now, this is a Christian series, and I don't know who this is referring to. It's got a female on the cover, so I don't know if she's the libertine or if it's the leading man or if it's the villain. I don't know, but it does say the libertine is innocent, so I'm guessing they're not the villain. I don't know, we'll see. And so now I believe I have all 5 of the books in this series. So after we left Gardners, we went to a Bistro in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, and they had it's a combination bookstore and bistro, and the nonfiction rare book selection there was amazing. They had a lot of fiction, but the real gem of that store was all of the nonfiction, and it was just an amazing collection. So I did buy one book for my husband. This is The Fords, an American Epic by Peter Collier and David Horowitz. My husband is a car guy, and most especially Fords, and I thought my husband would enjoy this book about the Fords. Alright, so then before I left, my sister gave me a book. She said she bought this at the Dollar Tree and really enjoyed it. It is Letters from Sky by Jessica Brockmole. And she didn't really tell me anything about it, just that she enjoyed it and she was done with it, so she passed it on to me. It does say it takes place in March of 1912. So sometimes when you're book shopping, you run across a book with such a great title that you have to buy it just simply because the title is amazing. So I found one of those kinds of books. When I looked at it, I had no idea if I would like it or not. Now that I've come home and I have looked it up, I actually think it's going to be even better than I originally thought. But I still only bought it because of the title. This is Sue Ellen's Girl Ain't Fat, She Just Weighs Heavy by Shelley Rushing Tomlinson. Now, what makes me think I'm going to even enjoy this even more than I originally thought, not only is it blurred by Jeff Foxworthy, I looked at the other books by Shelley Rushing Tomlinson. She has some other humorous books, and some of them are Christian books. So that is very exciting, because a lot of times humorous books can get raunchy or trashy, and I'm going to assume that this one is not. So it's going to be just a lot of clean Southern humor, and that is right up my alley, and I am so excited about it. And really, the title, just, you cannot improve upon that title. So the last 3 books were on my high priority list. I really wanted to find some books by Miss Reed, and I did not find very many, and most of the ones I found were books that I already had. And the one I did find is one that I didn't own, but I had already read it. I found Winter in Thrush Green by Miss Reed, and I still went ahead and grabbed it because it wasn't very expensive, and I want to own the whole collection of Miss Reed books. So I believe I found this one in the bookstore in Tallahassee, Florida, where I stopped on my way towards Oklahoma. And I said in that part of the vlog that I had not been to that store before, but in hindsight, I think I have, but it was in a different location. That's why I didn't recognize it, because the gentleman who was there was telling me that they had moved locations fairly recently, I believe. And a couple of years ago, when our family was on our way home from a trip and we were in our motorhome, we stopped at a store in Tallahassee that was not very far off of I-10, and I'm pretty sure that was the one that we stopped at. So anyway, just wanted to correct myself there and say that I at least found one misread book that I didn't own. And then my most exciting find is 2 books from the Lumbee series by Gail Fraser. Now, these are not real well known. I found the first one of these books at my own library in the sale area. Then I found books 2 and 4 at some point a little later on, and I've been searching and searching for the rest of the series. There's a total of 6 books in the series. I believe that it is maybe a little bit inspirational. I think they're clean books from what I have read. I don't know if they are what I would classify especially as Christian, but I do think that they have some Christian undertones and hopefully are very clean. So I'm really excited about finding these. So if you're interested in these books, the first book is called The Lumbee Lines. And so the books that I got on this trip, I found book 3, which is Lumbee's Bounty. And then book 5, Lumbee on the Air. I got these in Lafayette, Louisiana at a little store that was right off of I-49. So if you ever find yourself in that part of the country, then you should definitely stop in. So I want you guys to make a note of this series, look it up, read about it, see what you think, because I think I would like to do this series as a read-along at some point in the future. Now that we're finished with the Cherry Cola Book Club, I do want to go ahead and get caught up with the other read-alongs that I'm behind in, like Home to Heather Creek and the Cape Light series, but I've also finished the Home to Harmony read-along, and I do need to still do comments on a couple of those books. So, but since that read-along has virtually come to a close, it's time to start thinking about what I might want to do next. This series is not on my 20 by 20 project, and I probably don't want to add it. I think, so I'm really kind of looking at 2021 as a possible read-along, unless I get really super caught up with all the stuff on my 20 by 20 challenge. So there might be some other read-alongs in between these and now, but I just want to let you know so that you can be thinking about it. If these sound interesting to you, you might have trouble finding them like I did. And so just go ahead and be checking your library, see if your library has them, see if you can find them. I don't know, you could probably find them online, maybe. I mean, I'm sure you can find them on Amazon or eBay or something. But just, you know, if you're like me and you like the treasure hunt of finding things, then, you know, you could go ahead and start keeping your eyes out for them now. And then somewhere down the road, if we want to do these books as a read-along, then those of you who are interested, well, maybe you'll have some in your possession by that point. So I think I'm the most excited about finding these 2 books. So that's my book haul, that's my travel vlog, my bookshop hopping from Florida to Oklahoma and back, and I had a great time. I really enjoyed seeing a lot of my family members, and I'm happy to be back in Florida. I have not made it home yet. I'm still at the hospital with Emily, but by the time you see this video, I will have been able to get home and plug this into the computer and edit it and upload it. So anyway, that's all I have for this video. Let me know if you have been to any of these bookstores, or if you are going to be in any of those cities or states and you want to stop by there. Be sure you tell them that you saw their store on my vlog, and I hope that that will make them happy that they let me video in their store. So that's all I have for this video. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.